Alright, Shalom. First off, we want to start off by saying all praises, honor, and glory due unto Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shai, by Hashem Rakakadash, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Kahallah Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shai. That's all praises, honor, and glory due to who y'all ignorant, who the majority of the world ignorant calls God and Jesus Christ. Are true names in the Hebrew is Yahweh for the Heavenly Father, and Yahweh Shai for his beloved Son. I'm also going to say double honors to elders and apostles of Great Millstone. These are the men that taught me, that I was raised up in understanding under. And these are the true prophets. This is where the bulk of the true prophets, majority, there's other brothers that don't call themselves GMS. But this is where the truth is being pushed out from at a high level. These are where the prophets are. And the Spirit of the Lord is dealing with the brothers in Great Millstone. I'm going to also say, peace and mercy to hopeful elect. The men, women, and children that are elected to get salvation out of Babylon the Great and all over the world. Babylon the Great being America, because this is that city of confusion. But I wanted to go into 3 or 4 articles, and it's really going into the economic collapse and what it spells out for, the process of Esau, who is the so-called white man, and his nation, Edom, whether or not they be in America or Europe, Russia, you Edomites and Israel, those in Israel, for the most part, are Edomites, because the scriptures tell you that a bastard shall dwell in Ashdod, and tells you the Lord will give our land to the worst of the heathen. And Amalek, which is who is over there in the land of Israel, is a son of Esau. He's the worst. He's the worst of the heathen, man. But I'm going to get into some of these articles, and Lord willing, this is all edifying. So it says, demand for U.S. dollar as world reserves currency seems to be waning. Deutsche Bank. And this is big, man. This is very big. It spells out Esau's demise, because through this man's dollar, which the dollar, the greenback, is nothing but a talisman in a form of witchcraft, because, it's perceived to be something, but it's really worth nothing. This paper that carries the weight of a name. If people really understood how money worked throughout the world, you people would be sick. But for the vast majority of people, especially Jake, they don't understand economics. They don't understand money at all, currency at all, because the way currency really works nowadays, it's all based off of perceived payback value. That's how the U.S. dollar works. They can borrow as much as they want. The dollar stays strong because it's perceived that their credit score, their global credit score, is good enough to pay it back. And this debt, anything based off of debt, isn't meant to last. So it says the currency markets are currently facing multiple cross currents on rising global concerns over a potential second wave of COVID-19, said Deutsche Bank chief Asia macro strategist Samir Goel. It says, according to him, the big question for the investors right now is whether the U.S. dollar should be trading at a safe haven risk premium. It says Goel told CNBC that since March, investors have been favoring the greenback over its peers in the group of 10 countries, in part due to the emergency dollar demand. As the world went into a synchronized shutdown to stop the spread of the pandemic, as investors typically flock to the U.S. dollar in times of uncertainty, in part due to its position as the world's reserve currency, that emergency dollar demand seems to be waning. So that's what we're seeing. And let me get this one in Job, I think it's Job 20, and it speaks volumes to what we're seeing, man. Job 20. I put it in a group chat on something else, but Job 20 and 21, it says, there shall none of his meat be left, therefore shall no man look for his goods. And that's what, you know what, I got to start it up. It says, surely he shall not feel quietness in his belly. Shall not save of that which he desired. There shall none of his meat be left. Therefore shall no man look for his goods. And that's what we're seeing. The biggest good that this devil has is his currency, man. Because he's beating the nations. He's set up every global deal to evolve around the dollar. And what people don't understand is that the reason why the U.S. dollar is the reserve currency of the world is by a back-ended deal, and how it really affects if people start selling off those U.S. stocks. You know, Russia sold off almost all their stocks. China's starting to sell theirs again, so it's spelling a demise for that U.S. dollar. And what happens when everybody sells it off? It's worth nothing. You know, just perceived value in Esau's system is waxing old in this world, and it's beginning to fade, pass away. So this is Isaiah 13. And 17, it says, behold, I will stir up the Medes against them, which shall not regard silver, and as for gold, they shall not delight in it. And that's what we're seeing, man. Every nation, and it's not only the Medes, because all of the nations are beginning to walk away from this devil's dollar. It says, I'll keep reading until the 19th verse. It says, their bows shall dash the young men in pieces, talking about the missiles, and they shall have no pity on the fruit of the womb. Their eyes shall not spare children. In Babylon, the glory of kingdoms, the beauty of the Chaldees' excellency, shall be as when the Most High overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah. And how did Sodom and Gomorrah go out, man? By fire. The Lord rained fire and hailstones on them. And the Lord's going to do the same thing today in this world. What? Through nuclear missiles. That's your new fire and hailstone. You know? And he's given that weapon. Into the hand of the destroyer, which is Esau. Yeah, man. So I'm going to go to this next article. It says, U.S. dollar collapse may happen at warp speed, warns economics Stephen Roach. It says, in another stark warning, senior fellow at Yale University and former chairman of Morgan Stanley Asia, Stephen Roach, says coronavirus may cause dramatic decline of the U.S. dollar in the near future. It says, in a COVID era, everything unfolds at warp speed, Roach said in an interview with Market Watch. You see, at warp speed, this devil is going down fast. So let's get this. So like, yeah. I think it's in Corinthians. Oh, no, it's not in Corinthians. So Luke, it says, this is Luke 10 and 18. And it says, and he said unto them, I beheld Satan as lightning falling from heaven. That's light speed. And the way this devil was able to stay up for so long is through this dollar, man. You know, he used craft and witchcraft and devices, wicked devices, to keep this dollar afloat, man. he toppled whole governments just to keep the dollar afloat. And you had a Gaddafi that was trying to make a gold standard, and he killed him off. So now what? Now everything's spelling out to this man's economic demise, and this was a great cornerstone of his might in the world. You know, he had the military, and then he had the monetary funds and the ability to push out sanctions to collapse a whole nation. Hence what was happening to Syria, hence what happened to Venezuela, and what he was trying to do to Turkey. So we're seeing this stuff happen at warp speed, and everybody's starting to deny themselves of having to deal with this guy. So let me get this. This is James chapter 5. I'll go to one. It says, "Go to now, ye rich men, weep and howl for your misery that shall come upon you. Your riches are corrupted, and your garments are moth eaten." Meaning the wealth that you got is decaying. And that's what we're seeing. It says your gold and silver is cankered. And what is that? That's that monetary system, that greenback. That greenback, you got the pound, you got the euro. All those economic systems are crashing, and people are trying to buy up, other nations are trying to buy up gold. Why do you think you have a nation like Britain trying to hold on to Venezuela's gold? Because they're trying to steal it for themselves to prop up their own kingdom. You know, it says, verse 3, "Your gold and silver is cankered, and the rust of them shall be a witness against you." So I wanted to go into that word rust because it's very clutch for you to understand. Really, these articles that I'm bringing out. So James. Let's see that word cankered real quick. I want to grab that right quick. Cankered, to rust over with rust, right? So let's go into that word rust. It says, "Poison of animals, poison of ass is under the lips, spoken of men, given to reveling and calumniating, and thereby injuring others." And that's what happened through this rust of this money. He caused other people's nations to be weak because it forced them to keep borrowing into a system that they could never get out of. And if you go into the definition of that word rust, right? So we go to the etymology online, and rust. It says red oxide of iron, rust, moral, canker. Moral canker. It says redness. It says brownish, Latin. That's not it. That's it. Disease. Yeah, here it is. It says right here. I hate when they put these little ads right there. It says as a plant disease attested from mid 14th century, Rust Belt decay urban industrial areas in middle central U.S. So that's what this represents. It represents a decay of a system. So what we're seeing is the decaying of this Edomite economic system, this debt-based economy, this global debt-based economy. I'm going to keep reading a little bit of this article. It says, "The prominent economist has in recent weeks been warning about the looming fall of the dollar and the end of its hegemony as a global reserve currency. While he previously predicted a 35% drop in the greenback against major rivals, he now stresses that his forecast may happen sooner than later. And that's 100% right, man, because it's what did we read? And I beheld Satan falling, I beheld Satan as lightning falling from heaven. So it's going to happen quick. When the rug gets pulled out from the floor of this economic system, that's it. It's not going to come back up. They're going to try to push a whole new system, and they're going to try to push it through that chip. But let me keep going on this. It says, back in James 5:3, it says, your gold and silver is cankered, and the rest of them, the decay of them, the poison of them, shall be witness against you. Because everybody's going to be like, you know what? I worked so hard, and everything I have is worth nothing. It says, because people really believe that what this dollar is backed by is promised. They believe the time and the years they spent grinding is backed by something, and it's not. It says, and shall eat his flesh as it were fire. And what is the flesh? It's your covering. It's the covering to your vital organs and your muscles, those things that keep you pumping. And what happens when you take away that a covering from a body, the flesh from the body? What sores, peeping, disease, bacteria. It says, and shall eat his flesh as it were fire. He has heaped up treasures together for the last days. You see? And this is what we're seeing, man. And now I wanted to get this last article and then go into a few more scriptures and I'll close it out. So this last one. It says total U.S. debt surges to $55.9 trillion amid increase in corporate and government borrowing. It says debt surged and household net worth tumbled in the first 3 months of the year as initial impact of the coronavirus pandemic hit, according to the Fed. Total domestic non-financial debt jumped by 11.7% to 55.9 trillion. The report said debt had increased by 3.2% in the previous quarter. So you're talking about an increase of debt because they factor in how much debt they're gonna pile up as they go along. So the previous quarter, so just at the end of last year, the previous quarter's debt was only 3.2%, right? But this quarter added on a 9.5% percent interest in debt. It says debt surged and household net worth tumbled in the first 3 months of the year as an initial impact of the coronavirus pandemic, according to the Federal Reserve's data released Thursday. And this article is from June 11th, so it's only growing. It says total domestic non-financial debt jumped by 11.7% to 55.9 trillion. The Fed said in its quarterly statement on domestic financial accounts, debt had increased by 3.2 in Q4, that's quarter four in 2019. At the same time, plunging stock market values took a bite out of net worth, which fell 7.4 trillion to 110.8 trillion. Wall Street, however, staged a sharp recovery off its March lows, so much of that loss likely has been made up. Equity values fell by 7.8 trillion, while real estate value increased by 400 billion in the first quarter. And the only reason why real estate value increases by that much in the fourth quarter when equity value drops is because the price of the dollar is weakened, so you have inflation. These people try to sit here and dress up these numbers and try to put it in a way to ease the people. But the truth of the matter is your dollar is collapsing. The wealth that you had, that you thought you had, is not there. So instead of your $200,000 home being worth $200,000, when the stock markets took a crash, when lending was put at a zero, when the Federal Reserve started printing money for these stimulus checks, when military budgets grew, it all weakened the dollar. So instead of your house really growing value, the dollar was weakened. So now instead of your house being worth $200,000, by a weakened dollar, you have to put more money in just to get to that true wealth of $200,000. Now your house is worth $300,000. And this is what happened across the board. So let's get this, man. This is a Habakkuk. And I'll get in the blue letter for this one. This is Habakkuk 2. And 6. And I'll read it up here. It says, shall not all these take a parable against them and a taunting proverb against them and say, woe to him that increaseth that which is not his, how long? And to him that ladeth himself with thick clay. Now let's go into that word clay, because it's going to make you understand it. That word clay right there is a batya. A batya. And it says, weight of pledges, heavy debt. And that's what we're seeing. So the Lord said, woe to him that increases himself in thick clay and laid himself in thick debt. So this is what we're seeing. It's a destruction. It says, verse 7, shall not all these rise up suddenly that shall bite thee, and awake that shall vex thee, and thou shalt be for booties unto them. These other nations are going to sack America, and you people in this world, in this nation, are going to sack it for all it's got. Looting's going to go up on an all-time high. Robbery, armed robbery. Because what? Everybody's going to be in the same position of having nothing. There's going to be no food moving around. The scriptures speak of a famine. But this is the collapse of this devil system. This is what brothers have been preaching. This is what the apostles have been preaching for a long time, that this man's system was going to fail. And these devils, man, that aren't in the loop, that are just getting paid, that are stressing, they have no part in the new world order, because it's only going to be for a select few to actually prosper in it. It's not going to happen. The Lord said he's going to carry his plans headlong. It's not going to happen. But this is the fact of the matter, man. So this is Proverbs 13 and 11. It says, wealth gotten by vanity shall be diminished, but he that gathereth by labor shall increase. And how was wealth gotten in this place? Robbery. It was based off a debt-based system. So this wealth, you're seeing it diminish in this country. That's what you're seeing. Esau, the so-called white man, his whole economic system is starting to diminish. And it's beautiful, man. This is Psalms 62 and 10. It says, trust not in oppression, and become not vain in robbery. You see? So that's the vanity that Proverbs 13 and 11 is talking about. The wealth that was based off of robbery was vanity. It was going to have to be requited. Because when you go into the scriptures, when you rob somebody of something, you have to pay 5 times the amount. That's why the scriptures tell you, as his robbery was, so shall the restitution be, basically. So he's going to restore every single thing. He's going to cough it up for the righteous. So peep this. This is another one. Psalms 52. And I started when it says, to the chief musician, Mashal, a psalm of David, when Doeg the Edomite came to and told Saul, and said unto him, David, come to the house of Ahimelech. It says, why boastest thou thyself in mischief, O mighty man? The goodness of the Most High endureth forever. And this is what Esau does. He boasts that he's the richest and wealthiest nation in the world. Look at Donald Trump speak, and these other Edomites, they're having that same spirit in them. It says, thy tongue deviseth mischief like a sharp razor working deceitfully. It says, thou lovest evil more than good, and lying rather than speaking righteousness to law. And this is what the Edomites, who you call Caucasians and white people, this is what their true spirit is like, man. They love evil more than good, man. They'll work out a system. They'll break it down for only their benefit or only a select percentage of their benefit. And they push you aside when you try to tell them it wasn't fair. It says, thou lovest all devouring words, O thou deceitful tongue. The Most High shall likewise destroy thee forever. He shall take thee away and pluck thee out of thy dwelling place and root thee out of the land of the living. And what is his dwelling place? It's all the chief parts of the world. America, Europe, Britain. You know, these are the chief hubs of the world. You know, chief ports to ship goods in, everything. And the Lord said he's going to root you out of the land of the living because how you dealt on the world, man. It says the righteous shall also see and fear and shall laugh at him. And that's what we're doing, man. We're seeing you devils fall. We're seeing your kingdom fall, and you have no power in yourself to retain it. You know, all your plans are going going to the left and to the right when you want them to go in a certain direction, and you have to continually sit here and readjust your plan because it's not working like it used to. It says, verse 7, it says, lo, this is the man that made not the Most High his strength, but trusted in the abundance of his riches, and strengthened himself in his wickedness. You know? So this is going to be the reward, man. And this is how you devils get down. You trusted in the amount of your wealth. You're the wealthiest nation. You were able to make so many guns, all this. But at the end of the day, your reward is going to be destruction and death. And I'll end it on this one. This is Proverbs 11. And, you know what? I'll read verse 26 first. It says, he that withholdeth corn, the people shall curse him. And that's Esau, man. Esau has withheld corn. He's withheld the wealth and the sustenance of the earth. So people are starting to hate him. The other nations hate him for it. But blessing shall be upon the head of him that selleth it. And that's Jake, man, because the what we're filling people with knowledge and wisdom. This is the bread in the corn. This is that. It says, verse 27, it says, he that diligently seek good procureth favor, but he that seeketh mischief, it shall come upon him. And that's Esau. He has sought mischief. Everything this devil put his hand through to do was all in wickedness. Verse 28, he trusteth in his riches. He that trusteth in his riches shall fall. And this devil has trusted in his riches, and we're seeing him fall. But the righteous shall flourish as a branch. You know, so our day is coming where we're on top, man. The Lord said, hey, things are going to be turned back upside up, right side up. Because right now it's upside down, man. But, you know, the decay of this man's system is quickening. So, Lord willing, this was all edifying. I want to say, call Allah, Yahweh, Bashim El Shai, Bashim Makakadash, double honors to elders and apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and mercy to a hopeful act. Shalom.